Here at Big Boys, we are big supporters of the arts. We consider ourselves refined and cultured connoisseurs of everything from music to our favorite, classic film. As such, in this episode, we are discussing the beautifully made police action movie, Exit Wounds, starring Steven Seagal. Join us as we dissect and unpack all this beautiful film has to offer, this week on Big Boys.
Prepare to be mesmerized and or mortified.
Well, what's happening there?
Old Sorrel's here had himself a nap.
You son of a...
Yeah, clever. Kind of soft and only like in one ear.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
Look at those boys, ain't they
Big Boys with Brian Hickey and John McGray. Greetings and ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Big Boys podcast. This is season 2, episode 8. John, this is our 20th episode. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Am I coming out on a delay? Because you took a while to process that.
No, I don't think you're delayed.
Are you sure? Because again, it took you a while to respond.
Well, that's because I had to think about it.
Just seems like
like I said.
I see. Yes. Well, man, it's a true or false, yes or no, binary question that you took hey, that's the time it takes for you to process something like that. That's whatever. But yes, today is our 20th recording of the Big Boys podcast. We have another 2 episodes we're going to do for this season, and then we're going to take ourselves another little much needed hiatus break. And I don't know about you, buddy, but every time it gets around to this point, I am very much looking forward to that break.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And in case you guys haven't noticed, the ghost of Barry White has been lifted from John. The curse has been removed. It is, man. But well, like all things, there's got to be good and bad. Like I'm sure, whatever demons Barry White had, and being, such a huge inspiration to the R&B community, probably would have, came in and found their way to you. I am sorry to hear that you lost all those recording deals, all those record contracts. Coors is no longer.
Yeah. That's okay.
Well, you're taking
Maybe
it
I'll
well.
just work on creating my own sound sample library.
I noticed that you have been doing that. So just to give you guys a little inside baseball of how we generally do this, especially when we run out of like pre-recorded episodes. Generally, we record on Fridays and then release it on that Thursday within 6 days, like the lazy version of South Park. And on this last uploads of John sending me the mix down and his intro, he also sent me 12 different. Was it 12? I believe it was 12 different samples of him burping into the microphone. And he's like, yeah, and he was like, hey, these are just good sound bites to have for the future. John, what were you thinking that future would be?
I don't know. I mean, but part of me was thinking they're all original, so that way we don't run into like licensing issues or whatever. With sound libraries.
Yeah, you think they're really like? How would they go about knowing? Like, no, that's my burp. That's my mouth. Do they have a way of registering that online? Of like, oh, it hit this octave and this decibel for X number of amount or whatever. Because I feel like
that's a really good point, but I don't know. I just know sometimes you can run into problems like that if you use. I don't know exactly how it works because you get into legal stuff, but
I feel like I've heard about that. Well, like with music, sound samples of people's voices for music. Not a lot of remixes here for loud, obnoxious burps. Like, let's see here for exhibit. Yeah, that's burp wave 1. Yeah. Sorry. Number 2. 3. Oh, this one he called lame. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was.
Yeah. Boy, what a gold mine he sent me here, dear listener, of just
Yeah.
different sound samples that we can use on our prestigious podcast. Oh, that one's fun, huh? That's this one seems like something you need to go to the doctor for. It's, a little bit forced there. Another reason you should visit the doctor. And that one was kind of like you were joining Godsmack. You know,
Maybe from R&B to hard rock. You never know.
And I believe you died and had to be resuscitated back to life after that. Is that probably perhaps when you lost the ghost of Barry White within you? Was after that 11th burp?
No, that was just something. Like I said, I've been kind of getting into sparkling water and seltzers. I was just drinking those while I was working. So, of course, you had some good burps. And, it just came about organically. I burped, thought, man, wish I would have recorded that one. And then light bulb went off. And you're like, oh, yeah, I can.
What would have been more alarming is if the burp was inorganic. If it didn't come from you, but somehow came out of your body.
No. I meant that, just the process was all organic,
No, I got it.
Not the burp. The burp was obviously organic, but I mean, just kind of a light bulb moment.
Right. Well, I'd like to hear more about this light bulb moment. What was the thought?
It. I don't know what else is.
What was the thought of we're going to use this in the middle of our very lightly recorded episodes that we do in the podcast? We don't even really cut out because now we're doing video, which I'm all about it too. But we don't have multiple camera angles, so we can't cut out any dead space or anything like that. Maybe, oh shit, you know what? That's light bulb moment for me. Anytime we have a cringeworthy dead space of where you're processing a binary answer to a binary question, I'm going to put in one of your death burps.
Did you just never know? You used that one fart from years ago, and it came back up. So now we got some burps too.
Yeah. Now that one did happen organically, as you said.
Yeah.
If you guys know what he's talking about, it's at the end of our logo here. It's a sound of a guy farting and chuckling, and a lot of people think that is the guy chuckling is me, which makes sense because we have a similar sounding register of voice or whatever. I can definitely chuckle the same way as the gentleman did at the end of our logo. That is actually, though, from when we did our pilot a number of years ago, and the sound mixer that we had wanted to get some samples of fart sounds for his library, and we had some downtime, and he, much like John, had a light bulb moment. Man, you sound guys, and your light bulb moments.
Hey, there's only one way to get those sounds. Got to record them.
So our good, gracious sound mixer, Chase Haley, stepped into the closet of my childhood bedroom and recorded him farting into a microphone. And that is what we use today at the end of our logo. So that is him you were hearing fart and then proceeding to chuckle afterwards. Good stuff. So yeah, buddy. Thank you for the farts. I mean, not the farts, the burps.
No problemo.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast and I had the volume turned up pretty loud when I was, it's like fine, I'll listen to these. I don't know what this is about, but my God, they echoed the chambers of my car. Let me tell you. And let's see here. Shall we proceed? Shall we get this going? We also have another ChatGPT trailer today. This one came from our last episode where John endlessly started talking about the Kung Fu Kid as we were getting to wrap up, and then threw another 20 minutes on the podcast. Because he couldn't just grasp. Yeah, he couldn't grasp the fact that the Karate Kid would dare learn Kung Fu instead of karate.
It's not that I couldn't grasp it. It's just like, it's just kind of strange at all. You've got a movie, The Karate Kid. He's learning Kung Fu. I don't know. It's just the point I was making.
I'm sorry, hold on. Did you just hear the sentence that came out of your mouth? It's not that I didn't grasp it. It's just that you have the Karate Kid learning Kung Fu, ... I don't know. If there was any sentence you could have said that justified my point that you did not grasp it, that would have been it.
No, I grasp it. I totally understand the concept.
You finished the sentence,
but it doesn't.
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I don't know means I don't grasp things.
No, that's not true. Not in this case.
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I don't know.
Like, I understand the concept. Like, okay, he's learning Kung Fu, but it's just dumb to call it The Karate Kid. That'd be like having a movie called like The Milkman, but I deliver the newspaper and not milk. And you're like, why is it called?
That's more of a stretch. I would say like, he delivers orange juice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but still, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, you don't know. You don't grasp it.
Like, you make it sound like I was lost in the movie. Like I was like, I don't know what's happening.
No, I'm just chuckling over that statement. Like, it's not that I could grasp it. It's just, I don't know.
But I just don't think. I stand behind everything I said last time. The movie was just because I actually rewatched it in the meantime. I just don't think it was.
And there was no Machio, right?
No. If so, he's like hidden. Like maybe he's like a face in the background. It's not somebody.
I don't think they would hire him as a background extra.
Yeah.
That'd been something. That would have been weird. Really weird. Yeah. Weirder than that they, the choice of not having him at all.
I've actually gone through and rewatched all the Karate Kids by this point. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Karate Kid, what we have here is the trailer for the Kung Fu Kid, and
hopefully
this one,
pretty cool.
This one, I hope you can grasp. So I skimmed through this, but I don't even remember any of the names. But I'm betting there's some character who's going to be the Kung Fu Kid. Which characters would you rather be?
It's looking like all we have is narrator and Master Lee.
And then, maybe the Alex guy, because I'm assuming that is the Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah, but if you scroll, he actually has no lines.
Okay, so then, do you want to be the Kung Fu Master, and do you want to be the narrator then? Because those are the two prominent characters, as he said. Now, if you are the narrator, you would also be the. I saw that there was a villain line here. So, which one are we thinking? It's A or B. A or B.
Well, which one's A?
You could have just said, "I want to be the narrator," or "I want to be the instructor." What do you call him?
Oh, Master Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Let me narrate this one, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, JTG is taking the reins of the narrator. So why don't you get it cracking then? This is The Kung Fu Kid, written by ChatGPT.
Trailer opens with a serene mountain landscape, sunlight streaming through the misty peaks. Narrator in a deep, dramatic voice. In a world where courage meets discipline, and an unlikely hero. Oh, and I can't even read. And unlikely heroes are forged, comes a tale of determination and destiny. Cut to a young, determined boy practicing kung fu moves in a tranquil temple courtyard. Meet Alex, an ordinary kid with an extraordinary dream. Alex's face shows a mix of determination and frustration as he stumbles through his training. He's about to embark on a journey that will test his limits, challenge his spirit, and awaken his true potential. Alex stands before Master Lee, a wise, stern kung fu master.
Kung Fu is not just about fighting. It's about harnessing your inner strength.
Alex's training intensifies, showing his progression from clumsy to skilled. But when a formidable enemy threatens to unleash chaos, Alex must rise above his doubts and fears. Quick cuts show intense kung fu battles, sparks flying, and breathtaking acrobatics.
You cannot defeat me, boy!
Alex's determination grows stronger as he faces the villain in a climactic showdown. With the guidance of Master Lee, the support of new friends, and the legacy of ancient warriors, Alex will discover that true power of kung fu comes from within. Alex performs an awe-inspiring kung fu move surrounded by swirling leaves. Prepare for a heart-pounding, action-packed adventure that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Alex and his friends stand united, ready to face any challenge. This summer, witness the transformation of a young boy into a kung fu kid. Montage of epic fight scenes, sweeping landscapes, and heartwarming moments. The Kung Fu Kid. Get ready to believe in the power that lies within. Screen fades to black as the title The Kung Fu Kid appears, accompanied by exhilarating musical score. Coming soon to theaters near you.
Hiya!
Yeah. Yeah, you need an effect like that.
Yeah,
like
you
it's
need
like
a
Kung Fu
tagline,
Kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Karate Kid Chop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the caveat on this one is I've been trying typing in different variations to get our trailers. I just said in this one, write me a movie trailer for a movie called The Kung Fu Kid. And that was it. So I didn't add comedy. I didn't say sketch. I didn't add anything.
Maybe we should start proofreading these for actual like lines of dialogue and not just.
Yeah, there was literally one in there?
Yeah, there were
two.
Yeah, two. One from the character. Well, three. One from the villain.
One from the narrator. One from the character. Like one from
No,
the.
actually the character had none. Yeah, it was just the master and the villain are the only lines. The rest was like narrator and scene directions.
Which, yeah, I would like. Well, the idea of us doing this too is that I don't have time, so I need something to be. I want ChatGPT to fart something out for me that we could just, read real quick, and then we're also testing the process of it, of what comes out at different times. And also, speaking of fart outs, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you saw on my social medias, I also have a mini podcast that I'm putting out, just every couple of days or whenever I kind of have one that comes to mind. But if you're interested in checking it out, it's also on the Big Boys website, or you just type into your podcast platform 5-minute fart out, and it should come up on any of the devices. Trust me, no one else was bold enough to come up with the name 5-minute fart out. I know there's a lot of big boys out there, but 5-minute fart out, it was my light bulb moment.
See, it happens.
Yeah, it happens with burps and farts.
This man's becoming a podcasting machine.
I'm trying. Hiya! Doing my best. Hey, speaking of machines, just real karate kicking sons of bitches, we watched ourselves some Exit Wounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? You did go back and check it out, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you better, because I purchased it. Now we got that baby in our library forever now, Johnny boy. We can go back and just see Anthony Anderson kick his way off of a grill. Oh man, I love that movie. I missed it so much.
It definitely, some of that stuff I think is tropes of the time.
Oh, for sure.
Some of that stuff is, I definitely think like the movie was just corny. Like,
well, it's a lot, dude. But then also when I was saying last time about like how you can just kind of tell that a lot of stuff that with like Steven Seagal just getting aging and being more and more progressively more and more out of shape at the later stages of his career, where you can see like, okay, well, it's just like clearly a wire, is doing everything for him now. Like where he's like, there's that one scene where it's just and one of his like old his um movies where he's like playing a special ops guy and he's like just dragging a guy across the screen, but it's like clearly like being fed by a wire and he's like making very little effort.
Oh yeah.
It's quite obvious, and of course, each movie gets kind of more and more low budget. But what I was gonna say about this one is like there's some definitely for sure like some wire work like where it does the stuff that he's doing does not compete with his body. You know what I mean? Where like but he is still moving around a lot. You know what I mean? Like, but like it's like me if I was like doing headstands and and like spin kicks.
Well, some of that I think
But
is also just the popularity of the time. Like the
no,
Matrix.
no, for sure.
The Matrix made the whole wire fighting stunts like really popular.
Yeah,
for
and
the
it
next
is
several
around that
years.
time for sure. But what I was gonna get at though is that like it was done way better in this film than like obviously in that last movie I was talking about where he's just like, come on. And he's got like, yeah. And it was a delight, man. And it definitely is, it is filled with tropes of the time, like every every person of color is like just wearing like a sparkly jacket, like it's just gotta like,
Oh, the movie feels dated for sure.
Yeah.
Like when he's fighting DMX and DMX is somehow a proficient fighter. And he's keeping up with him despite the fact that he's wearing like a baggy designer jogging suit.
That was actually going to be another point I was going to make there is that, which I want to go back and watch Cradle in the Grave and just after watching this movie because it's just it might be from the same team of like producers and all that because it has a very similar feel. But like it's a same running trope in Cradle to the Grave, and I haven't seen Romeo Must Die. I need to watch that too because I'm interested if they do it with that too. But like basically what this movie and Cradle to the Grave posits. And like with DMX doing all these his fighting moves is that his baggy clothes are used as a weapon.
Yeah.
Because he like in the last minute when he kills the bad undercover cop that he's been trying to get for framing his brother or whatever. They're at the last final stage of the scene or whatever. They're covered in heroin. just caked in heroin, which is also another hilarious thing when you think about it. Because I probably watched this when I was in 7th or 8th grade, or actually probably even younger than that, probably 5th grade. But you don't realize like these people are caked.
03.
Yeah, so it came after this.
Yeah,
as I said. But like these two people are caked in heroin, still just like pulling off these badass fight moves instead of just being like, what is this? Where am I? What? Like just on the floor, just spinning out of their fucking mind. Like his face is just coated in the shit.
Oh, is that what that blue stuff was?
Yeah, because that's what they were. It was a heroin solution that they were putting in the t-shirts.
Oh, okay,
right?
I didn't put 2 and 2 together that was the heroin. I thought it was some powder, but yeah.
But yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was, but I could be wrong. But anyway, so yeah, like he's he's about to be his enemy is about to throw him into the spike against the wall, right? But he's holding him by the jacket, and little did he know that
he slips out of it.
DMX just knows how to slip right out of that jacket, and sending his enemy running face first into a spiked wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not heroin solution thing dipped in t-shirts is pretty interesting. I was like, is that a real thing? Apparently it is. I looked it up.
Huh.
Yeah.
That movie also had a surprising number of like people who went on to have like decent careers. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like Ava Mendes was in there.
Yeah. I was wondering, I actually wrote that down. I was like, I wonder if this is her first film, maybe. Yeah. And, well, actually, I think, like Anthony Anderson was a recurring, because I've only seen clips of Romeo Must Die, and he's definitely into Cradle to the Grave because him and Tom Arnold have that just great, charismatic, improv that they do together. Like,
yeah,
man,
Tom Arnold was in it. That's a good.
Yeah,
point.
They're both in Cradle to the Grave as well. And oh man, I just give me a movie that is like. I love this film, but if this film was just Tom Arnold and Anthony Anderson just going back and forth, just shooting the shit for an hour and a half, I would have been completely okay with that too. You know, they're great together. I want a buddy cop movie with Tom Arnold and Anthony Anderson. You
Dude,
know,
speaking of Cradle to the Grave, which we may have to do that one next.
yeah.
Has Jet Li been in anything in a while?
I don't know, dude. You know, he's I don't know how old he is though either, because
He's like 60.
yeah, he might just be bowing out. I mean, like I feel like shortly after this period, he started saying like I'm gonna retire, and then he came back every few years.
Well, I think he was talking about retiring from doing like martial arts epics.
Yeah.
But he was still doing some movies, and then I don't know, maybe decided to fully retire.
Maybe, man. Who knows?
Because it
Maybe.
shows the last thing he did was the live action Mulan in 2020.
Oh,
And
I
before
wasn't
that,
aware of
the
that.
last thing he did was 2017.
Was Mulan 2020?
Yeah. According to the IMDb here.
I never checked it out.
That sounds about right. Because I remember that was about the time COVID was going off. And so I think they ended up putting it on Disney Plus much sooner because theaters were closing down. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wasn't even aware he did something that recent, So
Yeah.
he may be still doing something. Are you on it? You're on his IMDb right now?
Yeah, but before that, it was like, so that's like one movie in like 6 years.
Well, yeah, but like you said, he's semi-retired. He doesn't really need to do
Maybe
it.
so, yeah.
And yeah, see, he has nothing in pre-production, even though, as we discussed last episode, you can't really trust that.
Let's look. I'm only looking at released. Let's adjust our.
Okay, well, while you're looking that up, I'll go through some of the notes I have here for Exit Wounds. Right out the gate, there's the president of the United States is giving an address, and one of the first things he says is more preschoolers died from gunshot wounds than police officers in the past year. What the fuck is this world they're living in? Because this is, again, 2001, being filmed probably in 2000. Like, I know mass shooting is a problem now. And, it's not that they didn't exist back in 2000 and 2001. But they certainly weren't as hyperbolic as they are now. And I would even still argue that I don't know that more preschoolers are dying from gunshot wounds than police officers today.
No, they aren't. That's absolutely untrue. Even today.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just
that's just the point of that scene is not that he's accurate. The point is there's just a politician talking point. Like, obviously,
I know,
he's a
but
politician. He's the vice president.
Yeah.
It's just supposed to establish that, like, oh, the city's riddled with crime. Like, oh, yeah, this is bad.
Well, it's setting up the the feel for the movie, right?
Yeah.
And that he's gonna, which makes no goddamn sense because he goes out of his way, like no one would come down on him for saving like a government official, and you threw him in the water. Now you got to get punished.
Yeah, especially when it's the vice president.
Yeah, that shit would make national fucking headlines.
Yeah, the vice president, the one of the two people whom that like they spare no expense to protect.
Yeah. And like, there's no way in hell that after going through all that, like, yeah, the public opinion would definitely fucking matter. Like, he was like, even though this son of a bitch threw me in the water and he knows I can't swim and I hate this fucking guy, I can't let the world know that. I can't let people know that because of the public perception. I got to get reelected. No one would come down on him like this.
Yeah.
It's just fucking insane, which is great
because
I
saved the vice president. Like,
yeah. Which again, not knocking. I love it. I fucking love it. I love that we're in this insane world that truly does not exist, but it's positing itself like, yep, this is the world today. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like the fucking a helicopter that has a smiley face and says "Have a nice day" on it gets the drop on the vice president. Like, what the fuck? How did they not see that shit coming from 10,000 fucking yards away?
Question: was that the last theatrical Steven Seagal movie?
No, No, we talked about this last time. I think the last one to hit theaters, because this one actually did good in theaters. This did pretty good. I mean, I don't know how it did with critics wise, but like the box office, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I think it made
won.
money. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
It's
but the
kind of
one that-
record breaker, but
The one that sunk on all levels, and we talked about this last time, it was the one with him and Ja Rule.
oh well,
which was
that's
right
like
after
basically
this.
the next one. Half
Exactly,
Past Dead.
exactly. And then it, yeah, it's all.
Did that actually
downhill.
get a theatrical release though?
I feel like it did. If not, I definitely saw it on a movie channel at the time. You know, so it was still popular
Yeah.
enough. It was like, it's still definitely popular enough to be on the movie channel. When we were kids, which was still a big thing. Like that's usually all the movies that go to theaters, right?
Okay, yeah, it did. Half Past Dead released in November 15th, 20. See, I don't remember that one being. I remember the advertisements
Yeah.
for Exit Wounds and thinking I want to see that. When I was like
Yeah.
12, and same with Cradle to the Grave. I didn't want to see that one as much. I thought Exit Wounds looked cool though.
And yeah, you just said the title. What was the other one with Ja Rule?
Half Past Dead.
At best, it's bonkers, man. It's a good bonkers flick. What was I gonna say about that? Yeah. It's sad because that is definitely the downfall of his career. They were shooting for I, and it wasn't even all right.
It wasn't even all right. They made neither. Yeah, that one flopped. It was
It was a big wet turd. It
yeah,
was.
I'm trying to see. Where's the? I'm
But you
on,
can even-
Box Office Mojo here. Oh yeah, worldwide, $19 million on like a $25 million budget.
Well, like in this and Exit Wounds, like Steven Seagal, he's never really looked like your conventional action film, but he's always been, not in the the like a fucking, he doesn't look like Thor in any of his films,
Yeah.
but he looks like a guy who could physically do shit. And he's still somewhat believable in this one, even though he's just progressively throughout like the 90s starting to wear more and more loose fitting shirts.
I wouldn't really say it was really unbelievable until like
No.
until like the mid to late 2000s.
So I was gonna say that's the one where you can clearly see like even though it's only been like a year or two, you can clearly see the delineation of like how he's gained. You can he doesn't look. He looks pretty chub.
Yeah.
And, so it becomes progressively less and less believable. But that honestly, if I remember that story, it was just bonkers all around.
Yeah, see, Exit Wounds did 79, almost 80 million, 79.9 million worldwide compared to Half Past Dead, which did like 19.
What was the
So-
budget?
Yeah, Exit
For-
Wounds was significantly more successful.
What was the budget for Exit Wounds?
I'm trying to find it here. Does it say? We can find it. Let's just do Exit Wounds budget.
Yeah, look into that. Oh, also going back to our vice president scene, I love that. Again, I just love the idea that this world that brings us into
33 million.
33 million. Okay, so yeah, it did really good then. Yeah. But guy goes and all the people that are trying to assassinate the vice president are all like dressed as police cops or whatever. And so like the idea of like you can't trust who is saying they're a cop is kind of been established because
Yeah.
motorcycle cops are trying to kill the president or the vice president. And Seagal kills like 10 of those, not in uniform, but as soon as he gets surrounded by cops, he just, it's cool, I'm on the job. Like, why the fuck would they trust that?
Yeah.
Like, why would like that? It's just like, and the immediate reaction is like, son of a bitch.
Question, something I just thought of too. Them trying to kill the vice president, was that ever relevant to the rest of the movie, or was that just a setup at the beginning?
It's literally just a setup at the beginning of the that he's gonna be transferred to this other precinct.
Okay, because that's what I was wondering. I was like, that's like nothing else in the rest of the movie has anything to do with like, the vice president or the president or
the vice president. The vice president doesn't come back and like give him a favor, like you really pissed me off, but you're okay in my book, Seagal. And none of that shit happens, right? Which is fine. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it had enough numbers going on in the movie of like DMX going undercover and his big, his big saggy jacket hiding cameras.
Yeah.
For like, yeah, and I was gonna say for like the first half of the movie, I was like, this shit would not work. But then I actually got to give it to the filmmakers. It did kind of pay off in the end. Like, because especially there's only like 1 or 2 shots that they used that were clearly like cameras from the film, or like Michael J. White, who's in this as well. Love that motherfucker. Love everything he does. My man, Black Dynamite. When they reveal that it's Michael J. White and they're showing it like DMX and his crew are showing Seagal that like, oh, Michael J. White's the guy running heading the show here. It's clearly from the film camera from earlier. Like, god damn, like where do I get that at fucking RCA or wherever? Where can I get that fucking camera that has that depth of field?
Yeah,
But all the other ones actually like they were like from a camcorder. RCA, Radio Shack. The fuck was I saying?
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Which was still around back then.
Yeah. R.I.P. Radio Shack.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. I was like, these shots look pretty good. A lot of them, especially for like camera technology of 2001.
Yeah.
Like imagine like a camera on your phone in 2001. I don't even think most phones had cameras back then. If so, they were like brand new.
And digital was dog shit. I mean, if you go back and look at the fucking first or episode 1 of Star Wars, like it's like, oh, this looks like it's covered in mustard, So it's like even that wouldn't have looked that good. And it's just like, let's say hypothetically, because he's got a big saggy jacket, like DMX was like stuffing an 8mm camera in there and he's filming him with that and nobody notices. Even if he did that, went to a lab, got it developed, it still wouldn't look as good.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, movies have been doing that kind of thing for years, sure. Where you'd be like,
they still do it.
Yeah, we pulled this off of a surveillance camera, and then it's just the most clear, beautiful footage you've ever seen.
Yeah. Just somebody like recording from their phone, but all they do is they put like a little red light record button or like the the interface for what looks like an iPhone recording, but it's like again, just what a gorgeous picture. I'm looking at like depth of field and
or
24 frames per second. Yeah.
100 yards and still looks good.
Yeah. And it's just I just turned this on and wanted to get my last hours. Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So. Dude, but I forgot how many, like Michael J. White being in there, that was cool. And him and Seagal getting that fight at the end. So you definitely see Michael J. White doing some stunts.
It's great, man. And then also to go off another tear there of you ever heard Michael J. White talk about his run-ins with Seagal?
No.
I mean, he's actually pretty professional. I got to give it to him. Like he composes himself pretty well, but you can tell he's just like he was not happy. He was not okay with it. It's apparently, I mean, it's been widely reported all around. Like Seagal never fucking pulled his punches with any of the stunt guys, and he was like,
I've heard that same thing, that he would beat up stunt guys and
But honestly, I would say if you're going to go back and watch it, just watch it from Michael J. White's facial expressions, because he doesn't really say much. He stays pretty composed and professional about it. But like he's just like, like whatever the guy's asking, he's like, now that was unpleasant. You could just tell he's like, I fucking hate that guy.
Then there was also what's his name, Bruce McGill in there. He's another one of those like character actors that's just been doing a bunch of stuff. He was the one at the end that was there to help Seagal that turns on him, that you find out is actually like behind the whole thing too. Like he's above or claims to be above Michael J. White's character.
Yeah, and that would have been interesting too. I don't know. It's just such a nitpicking thing for like just a crazy film that I love so much. But like, what if he was like, and also, why didn't you let the vice president die or something just to connect it,
Or what would have been cool is if the vice president came and did him a favor. Like when DMX was like, hey, we've been doing this video and we're trying to take this guy down. If maybe, they could have just been like, well, let me call in a favor. And he could call in a favor.
Like, how did you get this number? I missed the vice president. I know I don't like you and you don't like me and you don't like to swim, but I know you like to live.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got another friend here who also likes to live. And you should help him because I helped you. He's like, you son of a bitch, Seagal. Fuck.
It's like, all right, this time, but after that, we're square. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know you a thing.
Yeah. Next time a DHL truck tries to assassinate him, you better stay out of the goddamn way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, just so I love that opening. It's like, why would anyone be pissed at him?
Yeah.
Just like the whole
I don't know. I could definitely see the government trying to do an investigation of like, well, is there not some other way you could have saved the predator? Why did you have to
throw him in the river? They would have done that, but also, yeah, the optics of it all, especially because like I think there was like news cameras they cut to of like doing the whole thing, and like the optics of it would not have fucking paid off for them. Yeah, that guy is not getting fucking reelected if it comes out that the guy who saved his life has been demoted to some or transferred and tried to get him fired in some other precinct. Like that's not going to.
Oh yeah, exactly. Be like, the guy that saved the vice president was reprimanded. Like, yeah.
Oh, so did you find out is Jet Li doing anything in the future?
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, there's no upcoming. Yeah.
Good for him. Like I kind of appreciate those. Like I don't. Again, as we mentioned with like Schwarzenegger, like how would you even know how to comprehend being in their shoes? But like,
yeah,
if he doesn't need it, good for him. So yeah. Oh, everyone in this fucking movie kills it. Like every small bit character fucking just knows what movie they're in, and they just fucking nail the part. Like the guy who plays the car salesman, in the dealership of like.
Yeah,
love
he's
his
trying
performance.
To act all like slang with them.
Yeah.
Hey,
and then,
you guys are my dogs. And like,
Arnold Pinnock. I took his name down just because I just love his performance in that scene. I'm just like, where DMX is revving up the car and he's like, "Would you turn the engine off? Would you turn the engine off? Would you turn the motherfucking engine off?" Just he does. Yeah. He's fantastic. Everyone kills it in this film. I mean, and it definitely works to Seagal's advantage of like, because like, if it was, I don't know, man. Like, that's the other thing too. I love the pacing of this film. There's no fucking dead air. There's no time for you to even comprehend. Like, is this believable? Like, because it just goes to the next thing, and like, no matter what, still happens. Like Seagal walks to the door, finds himself in a shitstorm. You know what I mean? Like, well, I can't even remember, like, why was he at, like, what was that area, like the mall or the offices or whatever, where he stumbles upon, like, the janitor and his daughters are being held captive, and it just all somehow relates to the,
I'm trying to remember why he was there.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Like, it just kind of, like, he was just like, I don't know, I gotta go get some socks or something. And, like, oh, shit, everywhere I go, I can't really, I know he went to and talk to the evidence locker cops, right? And asked them something, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
so
it might have been
in relation to that.
I think it was something to do with the investigation, what he was trying to figure out. But
even the guy's ass that he kicked after saving the janitor and the kids or whatever. Like, I don't think those criminals were related to were they? I don't know. That's my point, though, is there's just like especially when I was trying to like take notes throughout the whole thing, it's like every scene is like pow, 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 kick, kick, kick. Slight, little small explanation here. Pow, 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 kick, kick, kick. Just kept on fucking just hammering it. I loved it, dude. Oh, and another great line. The actor's name escapes me. He was the guy who later went on to be in Grey's Anatomy, I believe, and then had a whole controversy from that. The guy who plays his partner.
Yeah.
He's driving around with him on the first day, and it's just a car driving down the streets of where are they? Are they in Michigan? Are they in Detroit? Yeah. It's just like, but it's like it's a decent looking neighborhood that they're driving through, and it's just like, look at this place. There's thugs turn the neighborhood to shit. And he just like the fucking landscape outside. It's just like average looking pedestrians just walking around the streets. It's not like there's no hoodlums about. Like, it's just like people going like shopping in mini malls. Like, thugs turned this place to shit.
Well, that's one of those, they literally like, all right, these are the lines. We can film here and let's yeah.
Well, I didn't even know, like, because then they were still, at that time, all right, I think they used the technology of, like, the green screen of, like, well, I don't know. Maybe he was being pulled behind, a trailer or either one of those could have worked. They had the technology to put him, in a studio and then have the green screen rolling behind him with just a generic, a generic looking street. I was going to say, I haven't been to Detroit, so I wouldn't have noticed any landmarks, but it was like, God damn, it feels like, even though they keep saying they're in Detroit, like a lot of like the outside shots feel a lot like LA, They probably filmed in LA, let's be honest. And they're probably just like, oh yeah, this is Detroit. Sure. Yeah.
You can believe that, right? Also, the movie had Bill Duke. That was cool. The one that was Mac from Predator.
Wait, what?
He was one of the cops of this old precinct. Yeah.
Yeah. The one that he was like, again, ends up being on his side, but was like, earlier in the film, if I had my way,
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Duke's great. I was gonna say, everyone kills their performances. And like, it makes Seagal's performance even more palatable, but like, you can, like, this film could have even been more of a masterpiece, if that's even possible, if it was somebody slightly more I don't know, because it's like the amalgamation of like, I hate to use the trope of being a good bad film, because like, like saying that you like something ironically is still enjoying it, but I think part of me is like, enjoys because Seagal is not great, but then there's also like his line reads are like, okay, if there was like a slightly charismatic actor like reading this line, it would have, maybe had some feel behind it, but like, it's just like, it just falls so flat. Like when they're having the chase scene where he's with his the female captain is driving the Jeep around town, and like he's saying these little one-liner quips that are supposed to be jokes, but he's just like, he doesn't like add any inflection.
It's like he just says them.
Yeah, he just, I always said women were bad drivers. And it's
I remember
and it's like
that line.
After they fucking slam into this fucking, you're like, I always said women were bad drivers. Like, you didn't, like, there's no, you're not reacting to the fact that your car just slammed into the, So good. Oh, and I love, everything, every fucking thing has the potential to blow up in this film. You know what I mean? Like, the first, like when they're, so when Seagal gets kidnapped in the black, most, obvious, like this is a kidnapper van. The first car that they sideswipe into, like it doesn't even like, not when the van, gets totaled or whatever, but the first one they sideswipe into fucking explodes. It's like, that is a dangerous manufacturer of a vehicle. If just like from one, side collision explodes a goddamn car.
Yeah. I think that was another trope of like that era too, because the Simpsons would make fun of that a lot of times. Yeah. Like there'd be scenes or something like a leaf would fall on a car and then it explodes or whatever.
It's essentially, and again, not fucking knocking it. Love it, dude. And then like, basically the rule is anything is liable to explode unless, Seagal is within range of getting exploded as well. Like, cause like shotguns, like a shotgun is a very powerful thing, but also at one shot, I believe just one shotgun shell blew up another fucking car. It was
dude, like, that was one thing too. At the beginning, when he's saving the vice president, he blows up the helicopter with his pistol. I was like, all right,
that's right, yeah.
That's a little much. Like, I like, like I said, action just for the sake of action, but that was a little much. Like,
I love that personally. That I laughed out loud when I saw it. I was like, what the fuck? I forgot about it. Like, damn. 8mm. How did they know? My helicopter's only weakness.
Is small handgun fire.
Yeah. And just fucking explodes. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I love all the tropes of this. As you said, it's probably of the time, but it's just it tastes that much sweeter just seeing it in post-mortem, I suppose. of like everyone in this movie is in the best goddamn shape of their life. Even minor characters, like the guys that are in the van, showing them who was there earlier, tying up the janitor and his daughters or whatever. Like the guys that are just running the video in a fucking van,
Yeah.
Those guys, great jawline. Like looks like they just got done doing a P90X workout, but their job is computers. Like,
yeah,
and they sit in front of a desk all day. I'm not saying it's not plausible, but it's like everyone, like, everyone's just like fucking, like the Rick and Morty joke of like, what was the train guy like rips his shirt off like, oh shit, tickets please guys, is jacked. Like I feel like that could yeah. I feel like that joke could have been made for every character in this film. Like just turns out they like rip their shirt, like the janitor, cut. You know what I mean? Just everyone's fucking jacked, except for Seagal. But and then maybe it was more so this time, like because I'm looking at it in this way of like, there's no way in hell as versus being a 12-year-old kid just watching the movie just to watch the movie. But it's like there's, I remember there being so many stunts. So I was kind of looking like waiting to see Seagal's stuntman, and oh my god, did it pay off? Like you can like if you're paying attention, you can clearly delineate when Seagal is even like from behind when Seagal's stuntman is doing the stuff and when it's Seagal.
No, I didn't really notice.
Oh, dude, go back and watch the motorcycle chase. And just like the dip, because like no one's ever gonna get Seagal's hairline right because it's a false hairline, right? But like it just cuts back and forth from Seagal close up and then wide of this clearly like just buff Italian guy with a great hairline and jawline and just and then there was one shot where like he like whips up from the bike and it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely his stunt double. But yeah, it was great, man. And as I'm watching the end of the film, this is what blew my mind and something we should definitely look into. This was based off a fucking novel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It said that, yeah.
Huh.
And I was like, what?
I'm looking that up now because that looks.
Please do, yeah.
You should read that.
Now I wonder if this is like a scenario where it was similar to like the Die Hard experience that we talked about last time, of where it's kind of loosely based off that novel, right? Like they basically got the proprietary rights to it and then changed all the character names and made it more a 2001 action film.
Yeah, it says the book is the same name though.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Based on Exit Wounds by John Westerman.
Are we familiar with that guy?
No.
He's not like the guy who writes the Jack Reachers or anything?
No, I'm trying to remember that guy's name, but...
All right, well, let's look into John Westerman. What else has he written? What else do we know of his work?
Let's see, books. Exit Wounds in 1990.
Okay.
Sweet Deal, a novel, which I'm guessing it's a cop something because there's a police car on the cover.
What are the genres of the books? Like, is it? Because I'd be interested to see if it was like noir, slow pace.
Oh, it looks like mostly crime novels. It says he is a retired Long Island police officer and the author of 6 crime novels, including Exit Wounds, which was adapted into the 2001 action film.
Well, Westerman?
Westerman, but it's 2 N's. Westermanin.
John Westerman, we thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm.
As a officer of the law and an officer of writing the basis for the greatest goddamn cop movie that's ever been created.
Yeah, that was. Oh wow. Okay, I didn't realize this was an Andre. What is it? Barkowiak. I don't know. I'm obviously butchering that.
Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of consonants. I don't know what the fuck that.
Bartkowiak.
This is the filmmaker?
Yeah, that's the director of the movie.
What else has he done?
Actually quite a lot.
Name something.
Okay, I'm on IMDb here. He was cinematographer on Speed, director of Romeo Must Die. He directed this and directed Doom, the one with The Rock.
Oh, really? Did he do Cradle to the Grave as well? Because this has a very similar feel. I mean, again, Romeo Must Die, the small clips that I have seen also have a very similar feel to this. And it's also with DMX.
He was apparently he's been the DP on a number of bigger films like Lethal Weapon 4, U.S. Marshals, Dante's Peak, Speed.
That's fantastic. But let's get back
I don't see Cradle to the Grave.
Really?
His credits, yeah.
It's definitely got his, it definitely feels like the sequel to this film, but with Jet Li. You know what I mean? And obviously it's got a slightly different
I'm story. Sorry. Here it is. I was overlooking. He did do Cradle to the Grave.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. Yeah. Everybody shits on Doom with The Rock. And, I guess it probably doesn't pay really good. I never really played the game, but, like, it's another movie that, like, it's so bad it's good or whatever.
That's another one of those, like, you got to be careful with video game adaptations because video game and movie, they're just two different mediums, and sometimes it's hard to convert the game to a movie and not disappoint fans of the game. You know?
Yeah. Obviously, the only one that's worked is The Last of Us, which, honestly, if you played the video game, the what it works very much like a miniseries. So,
yeah. It also depends on what you want to define as what worked, because we could complain about Resident Evil and how it was nothing like the game and blah, 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 but obviously it was successful enough that they made like 7 of them.
They're still making stuff. Now they're making like animated films, and I can't keep up with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I went back and played whatever the last one they made, 7 or 8. I can't remember. I played that one, the one that's in first person. I
think that's 7.
Yeah, that's a great game. But yeah, I had only seen like some of the movies before, playing the games. So yeah, none of the characters from the film are in there except for Alice, obviously, which can be argued as, not even particularly a character because it's just, a computer program, right?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to see. So 4, then 5.
Which actually, no, it wasn't in there. What the fuck am I saying? There's no Alice in there.
Well, I guess, they did Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. That was 2017. Then they did the Resident Evil 2 remake in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And the Resident Evil 3 remake. I know the remakes were pretty popular.
Yeah, I don't think this is a remake. Maybe it was. I don't know. But
and then they did Village, Resident Evil Village.
That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, the one with the whole internet went crazy about the big ladies, badonkadonk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that's funny, and we are going. Oh, and they did a remake of Resident Evil 4 that came out this year. Huh? That'd be fun to play.
Yeah. Anyways, what were you saying?
Speaking of DMX, who is in Exit to the Grave, or Exit Wounds, new movie.
That's
movie. Yeah.
Starring a young AI DMX. Exit to the Grave.
So in Resident Evil 2, there's that character, Mr. X, who's one of the tyrants, but he wears the trench coat.
Is he gonna give it to you?
Yeah. Somewhere online, I think someone did a mod that they used X Gonna Give It To You as proximity music. So as he would get closer, it would get louder and louder. And it'd be like, X Gonna Give It To You, X Gonna Give It To You.
That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Love me some DMX. Also went back in preparation for this. I went and watched, there's a documentary on HBO. I think it's called, Music Box Films. And he's got an episode on there, and it's the last year, when he passed, and they follow him like from the day he gets back out of prison and starts going on his new tour, and it's an exceptional documentary. I highly recommend if anybody's a DMX fan to go watch that. It's incredible. And actually, a guy that I did an improv class shows up in 2 shots. He's a fan of DMX as well. And you could see him fanning out. It's pretty cool. It's like, oh, shit. I'm in the middle of watching. It's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, it's great, dude. Like, and I'm not trying to make a joke out of the man's life, but there was a one scene where like it was Mother's Day, and to be honest, I was kind of like half asleep and half not. I was waiting for our last episode to finish, rendering. Just basically watching paint dry. So I watched the stock on my computer while I was waiting for that to happen. And but anyways, he's on tour, and DMX has got a lot of kids from a handful of different baby mamas. And he's taking his kid, he's having dinner with his kids, and his current wife is with him. And I don't remember if like his first wife is with him as well, and their kids, and like one of his ex baby mamas with him. And
goodness gracious, I didn't realize that 17 kids from 11 different women.
God damn, I didn't even know that. They didn't even really touch. They basically just showed like he's got more kids than you could fucking interview. Yeah. Holy shit. Wow, my man put it out there. All right. But anyways, back to this, like he's just, he's having dinner with his kids, and, and he's having, spending time with his kids. And it's really more on the documentary crew of like they got a shot of like one of his baby mama or whatever, as he's saying, Happy Mother's Day. And like just the stank face she gives the camera. It's fucking priceless. Oh, so good.
It's kind of wild that his name is Earl Simmons.
Yep. Yeah, man was a legend, dude. I mean, I don't think he needs us to say that. But what I also loved about him too is like he just, he also went back to his roots. He stayed in Yonkers. He lived in Yonkers, which is where he's from. Definitely gave back to that area. But then also, like, he was very patient, like with, because he was a pretty religious guy, which is, teach his own. But he went and did like a prayer thing or whatever with Kanye, I guess, back in like 2019, and like all these, extremely like straight laced. White people had never heard of him before, and we're like, "Oh, you were so wonderful. Do you do the raps?" And it's like you're talking to like the fucking one of the biggest legends in the genre, and he was just very patient. He's like, "Yeah, no, I've been doing it for a while," and I'm just like, he's really, really sweet, rather than just being real cocky and man had a big heart.
Yeah.
My condolences to him and his 17 children. Big heart and a lot of sperm.
Apparently, plenty to go around.
Hey, man, it's something we could all aspire to,
I guess so.
And, anyone knocking him, like, don't say he didn't warn you. He said, X gonna give it to you.
And he did.
He did. Gave it at least 17 times.
At least.
Yeah. Great talk, man.
Yeah. But yeah, exit wounds.
Yeah. So we're over the hour mark. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, or?
No, I'm just trying to think of what I'm going to eat now.
Dude, me too, man. I woke up pretty late for this recording. I work overnights, and so I don't wake up until after the crack of noon, because I didn't get home until about 5:30 this morning. And then my roommate here, he's an early riser, so I chatted with him for a bit. And then basically I didn't get to lay down until about 7 a.m. And I was almost like, fuck, maybe I'll just knock it out. But I was like, there's no way in hell John's up at 9 a.m. So
no, I was out a little late last night too. So yeah, I was not up.
What were you doing last night?
Nothing really. I just hung out with some folks over at the Donkey, and
and you got drunk.
I mostly did that here at home, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, that's okay. So let's go on this one. But there's a drink that his and I have to go back and watch Cradle to the Grave or Romeo Must Die. But DMX's signature drink in this film is called Hennessy Paradis. And now, John, I'm no longer a drinker, but would you do me a favor?
I remember he did mention that.
Yeah. Next time you find yourself out of alcoholic beverages, would you do me a favor? Have yourself a treat. Make yourself a Hennessy Paradis and let us know how it is.
I would, except I'm just looking it up and it's very expensive.
Really? I thought it was a mixed drink. I thought it was Hennessy plus something else that made it a Hennessy Paradis.
No, apparently it's a special release, Hennessy Paradis Cognac. And here's a bottle at Total Wine for $1,300.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You don't have to go out of your way to buy it, but if you happen to, if you do happen to find yourself getting to sample Hennessy Paradis, please do let us know. But if that never comes to fruition,
I wouldn't mind trying it, but something tells me it's going to be a while.
Listen, man, I know that unfortunately your R&B career is not going to take off. You know, Barry White has left you.
Yeah.
But if this podcast eventually takes off and we make $1,300, we'll get you a bottle of Hennessy Paradis. Okay.
All right. That'll be our celebration.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll just watch you drink the whole thing. Yeah. All right. Well, that's our show, ladies and gents. Appreciate you guys for tuning in.
All right.
We'll catch you next week.
Okay.
Well, hell, how about that for another episode? Attributed to DMX and the exit wounds. Love me some X. Can always count on him to give it to you, even after death. You best believe X gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to the world, and we're all just so much better because of it. We should all be so grateful for X and everything he gave to us. In this episode, I misspoke on a lot of things. I think I called motorcycle cops police cops. And then of course I referred to Radio Shack as RCA. There was definitely a handful of other misspoken things throughout that episode. And honestly, probably just about every other episode of this podcast. As that is the dynamic of long, cringeworthy pauses given by my co-host. See right there, another saying thing. Me misspeaking. But that is the dynamic. Is my co-host, Sir John the Great, leaves long, cringe-worthy pauses, and I, on the other hand, on the opposite end of that spectrum, try to fill every painstaking silence with words that I'd say 60% of the time turn into sentences that make absolutely no goddamn sense whatsoever. But all the same, we thank you for listening. We thank you for tuning in for our 20th episode of this podcast. 20 episodes deep, dear listener. And here's to another 20 more. Raise your Hennessy Paradis and cheers as we strive forth to make more and more great content. Content where I will no doubt fumble over my words, and John will just endlessly stop talking after he's cut me off in the middle of the sentence, just so you, the listener, can hear his empty thoughts on our recorded podcast. And look forward to more of those. It's going to be a great time. We have 2 more episodes left in this season, and boy, let me tell you what. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be something greater than I can put into words, which is obviously not saying much. But I'm looking forward to them. I'm looking forward to really just going all out these next 2 episodes, and then taking that much needed hiatus of getting other things done that I need to do, such as more community service hours. I have some other creative projects that I've been trying to work on that, I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a juggle to be doing now 2 podcasts, which is more like 1.5, because 5-minute fart outs are about half the work as this one. But doing that, and as I've mentioned before, I am constantly auditioning, doing a lot of voiceover auditions. Matter of fact, as soon as I get done talking into this, I gotta hit stop record, and then I gotta knock out 3 voiceover auditions. So got a lot of other stuff going on creatively that fills my days. Certainly not complaining. Certainly hashtag blessed. But also hashtag exhausted. Just, man, oh man. It's been quite a bit. But, I digress. And once again, look forward to just giving you guys some great content in the next 2 episodes we got going. And, it's gonna be great. Stay tuned. And with closing, as always, I'd like to say, Como se llama hermana? Lo siento, Pelipinto. Good night, all my fellow North Texans. And to all my fellow Angelinos, sweet, sweet dreams. And to everyone in between, whether near or far, far away. Have a good night, a good day, a good afternoon. And whatever comes, whatever may, just have a peaceful existence. This has been another episode of the Big Boys Podcast.
Big Boys is a podcast produced by Not So Funny or Proud Productions. The team consists of co-hosts, co-producers, and co-editors Brian Hickey and John Sorrells, better known as John the Great. For more information about the duo or this show, please visit us at bigboyspodspot.com, or feel free to take a gander at our production page, notsofunnyorproud.com. Look us up on social media and follow us at Big Boys Podspot. New episodes drop every Thursday on every popular podcast hosting platform known to man. So please be sure to like, subscribe, vibe, describe, contrive, confide, collide, abide, preside, tell your tribe, and most importantly, do prescribe. Me and Elixir for talking out the side of my neck.